Hey, what's up, everybody? Evony Ghost here, and I just wanted to come out today. I know that you guys haven't heard from me in a bit, and a lot of this is because of my work schedule. I just haven't really had the time. I went to Hawaii 2 weeks ago, and I've just been working my ass off, frankly. I just really don't have a lot of time to um, go into the battlefield, and I have an iPhone too. If one of you guys in the comment section can teach me how to screen record on my iPhone to where you guys can hear everybody in the call and not just my fat ass breathing, like 10 V-bucks to you, sir or ma'am. Like, it'd be very greatly appreciated. I just don't know how to do it. Well, anyway, just give you a little update of what the team is up to, and kind of make a little video about like why team progression is important versus like independent goals, right? So, Hookie Junk here. Why is Hookie Junk important, right? So if we zoom in, he's a K43. um, Hookie Junk is pushing for his K44 a little bit later today, right? Um, and why is this important? Because once he does that, we're going to be on our ninth K44. We're going to have nine K44s in the alliance as a whole. Um, and hey, okay, well, you're C1, who cares? Well, compared to 6 months ago where we only had three, three, or no, two, sorry, two fresh K44s, right? Now we have nine K44s. That's a huge increase, right? And how's this kind of tie into like team goals? Okay, so team goals. What are you guys trying to accomplish? Everybody in their server has that one dude that just spends out of his ass, and he just like he's an absolute beast. You know what I mean? But what does he do after that? He pushes power, right? So you have those players that sit there and they, um, like in that alliance, they go into BOC, BOG, etc. And that player does good, right? But what does the rest of the team get out of it? None of us here are like super high coiners. None of us here, and I say this after getting a cake, and I'm planning to get one this event, which I'll make another video about. Um, but none of us here are like super heavy coiners. I'm the second highest VIP on server, and there's maybe two or three other people on server with the same VIP as me. Our server gift is only I think 24, right? So we don't really have too much in the game as a server, let alone as an alliance, right? Because we're a split server. But team goals, back on track, right? So if you look at my alliance, right, we have nine going on 9K44s, and we're 420 billion power, right? Go figured, 420. Anyway, 420 billion power, and if you look, there's not a single one of us here that are over 30 billion power, right? And there's only like a select few people here. I think we have three people, four people that are 20 billion, above 20 billion. Um, why is this important? This is important because the more power that you sign up, the more power that you see, right? So if I pushed a billion power and 10 other people pushed a billion power, guess what? That's another 10 billion K44 or K41, whatever the case is, that has 5-6 million troops coming into a rally against my team. That's why that's important. And when you take into perspective that we're in C1, and now going into it, you have um, almost, I think they just hit 2,000 servers, right? So like these guys that are coining like their money into these new servers, yeah, 2,030 servers, right? These guys that are putting their money in are getting way more out of what they're getting than I did when I put my money in. That's why if you put, say, a C1 K40 that's VIP 18 next to um, a C7 K40 that's VIP 18, that C7 dude is going to be stronger every day of the week, right? Um, it's how it is. But anyway, so team building, right? So why is all of us going to K44 instead of like pushing power? Why do I keep bringing this up, right? Because a while ago we kind of all came to the consensus of, hey, fuck building power. Why would we do that when we could just push everybody as a whole, right? And if it wasn't for the support of people in this team specifically, it would have never happened, right? If everybody's head wasn't geared in the right direction, and I cannot thank my team enough for this, because it's going to set us up for K50, right? Um, we have other people making the climb as well, right? A couple of these K40, K41, K42s sitting around. Those are actively being pushed as well, right? Right now we're focusing myself, Martyr, and Sumpal going to K45. But anyway, it's the long term game because when K50 comes out, if I push up to 50 bill power, yeah, that's all cool, but what happens when I have to sustain that 50 bill power, right? What happens when the format of the game completely changes and now I have to not only coin to build my keep, but I have to coin to make sure that all those useless troops that I built uh, stay protected with buff, etc., or changing subsidy gens to get the debuff. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Cav is the next thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's this is just my like outlook on everything and why I play the way I play, why I sculpted the team to play the way that we play, right? And last Battlefield season for BO or All Stars, sorry, we qualified 13 out of 16 people that we signed up. Right? We didn't sign up everybody. We signed up the stronger keeps that had a chance of making it, and we we pushed, and we signed up around 16, 17 people every game, and 13 of those guys made it into All Stars, right? And for a 420 billion power alliance, that's fucking phenomenal, right? Especially being in C1 when we have to compete with these alliances like NEF, RSP, SAD, um, um, Reb. I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks, but there's a lot of big name alliances with like a lot of strong players that we have to compete against for those slots, and that's like we managed to do it, So I don't know, and in my eyes, it's like if we can do it, anybody can do it. We don't have anybody that's sitting here spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't have anybody that's um, like going out of their way to I don't know. You don't see any like 60 bill power keeps in this alliance that's doing it independently. If one of us were 60 bill, the rest of the team would probably be close by, right? Um, and that just like I said, I generally think as a consensus that power as a whole is bad, and just push keep level, push the buildings, push the tech, um, build your keep, right? And then after that, like the power comes with it, right? You don't need 5 or 6 archer rallies when um, you could just one tap a 20 bill with one archer rally, right? That's my whole idea behind it, right? So what are the pros and cons of this, right? So obviously Battlefield, BOC, BOG, like um, we don't really struggle. I mean, the battlefields are still competitive and fun. Don't get me wrong, but usually when we get into like this upcoming season for challenge qualifiers, when everybody locks in, like this, it's gonna be a fun season. Like it's gonna be fun games, competitive games, but we're gonna kick ass. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's where it could be like it's good because we're not seeing those like 30 like 30 40 bill power keeps like 3 or 4 of them. We're only seeing 1 or 2 of them, and then we just kind of had to flex based off of that, right? um but yeah, where could it be bad is like when you get into the all stars, right? And my team gave me a lot of shit for this beforehand. They get in all stars and they're all so small, so they have to like heal through everything. Um yeah, so it's one of those things. But I'd rather people get into All Stars, get their All Star coins, than um, basically not make it into All Stars at all, right? So just something to keep in mind. I don't know. To give you like my little take on the game, and also nothing less than a huge shout out. Like I could not thank you guys enough again. Just a huge shout out of like for my team. Like you guys are the ones that made this happen. Congratulations to you, and we're gonna keep kicking ass. So let's do it. All right, guys. Ghost out.